Good morning, everyone. Apologies for a late start. I think we're going to start now if everyone is inside. Okay. Um, I'd first like to greet all our distinguished guests, the members of the Mjebeza family, um, the members of the University of the Western Cape community, the clients that we have here, the Zimele family, our partners and friends, and everyone gathered here today. My name is Nomvio Mnyaka, and today I'm going to be your program director. On behalf of the Mjebeza family, I would like to thank you all for the support over the past 3 weeks, the pouring messages, the flowers, the phone calls, and the presence at at Thando's house. We are gathered today to celebrate a remarkable life, a life that was characterized by excellence, a life that was defined by purpose and devoted to people, a life that lives behind an enduring legacy. And I think over the past 3 weeks, this has been the message throughout the services we've held. I'm going to go into our program. I think you've all got the programs, which you've scanned or either have a physical copy. We're going to start with an opening and welcome message. As we commence the service, it is fitting that we begin with reflections from the institution that occupied a very special place in Thando's heart. Thando believed deeply in education, in transformation, and creating opportunities for future generations. UWC is that special place that occupied that special place in his heart. It's quite ironic that initially, when he registered at UWC, he registered for a teacher's degree and later changed direction. But look what a great teacher he was, ultimately, in all ways and in the way in which he lived his life. The university for him was not simply an institution, it represented the power of possibility and the responsibility of leadership. So please welcome me. Please help me welcome the Vice Chancellor and Director, Professor Robert Balfour.
Thank you very much, Nomvoyo Mnyaka, for the very gracious introduction and the welcoming to this solemn event this morning. It's an enormous pleasure to welcome the Mjebeza family to UWC into our midst. And I want particularly to acknowledge Mrs. Nwabisa Mjebeza and Thando's daughters, both present and not present today, as well as Mr. Caesar Rafuza, the newly appointed CEO of Zimele Technologies, and we know Thando's long-standing partner, co-founder and brother in arms. To members of Zimele Technologies and their clients who are gathered today with us at UWC, thank you so much also for coming along. You are very warmly welcomed in our midst, and we are delighted to be able to have you today to commemorate this great man's passing among us. To our UWC colleagues, members of the Executive Management Committee, I can see are also represented today. Thank you for taking the time out of your teaching and marking and administrative work to be with the Zimele Technologies family, the Mjebeza family, and all of us who miss Thando so much and who have gathered to honor him. I'm Robert Balfour, I'm the Vice Chancellor of UWC, and we are here because a great man has left us. And great men, when they leave a silence that no words can adequately fill. I stand before you today not only as the Rector and Vice Chancellor of the university, but as a voice of our entire community, our council, our executive management, our students, our staff, who mourn together and grieve together, and who today also give thanks together for the extraordinary life that was Thando. Thando was 50 years old. I'm 55 years old. And one thing that is so compelling at the time of this death is that 50 years is still a time of building, still a time of giving, of dreaming about what can be changed in our world. And Thando was already a giant in this regard. It is the cruelest truth of his passing that we are left to imagine just how much more could still have come from him. But I know we should not linger too long in the loss. We should also celebrate the man that he was, what he did, and the mark that he leaves at our university, which was a special place in his heart, and on this country, all of whom are fortunate enough to benefit from people like Thando, from Thando himself. Thando was a son of UWC. We are bound together in the story of his life over 25 years. He came to us as a young man, a student, and UWC shaped him. He earned his Bachelor of Commerce degree in 1998. He went on to his BCom honors in information systems in 2000. And by 2002, he added a Master of Commerce in information systems to his name. Those who knew Thando in the academic environment were not surprised that he excelled even beyond it. He had a mind that was sharp as a blade, and I'm told by those who studied with him as well that his spirit was even sharper. When he completed his master's degree, he did not simply walk across the stage with those certificates under his arm. He stayed on at UWC. He actually taught in our Department of Information Systems from 2001 to 2005. So what is amazing in his life from my perspective is that we have somebody who was an academic, who was a student, who became a business leader of stature. And it is so rare in society that those combinations come together. Our years together with him of shaping young minds, of him in the front of a classroom and doing for others what this university had done for him, speak to the truth of the person he was. Even then, a man who understood that knowledge is not just something you acquire, but that you pass on, you share, and you use to inspire people, to galvanize them, to motivate them, to keep going, to achieve new things, to keep giving. In those years, rooted at UWC and in this community, the seeds of Zimele Technologies were also planted. Together with Mr. Caesar Rafuza and others who shared their vision, Thando co-founded a company whose very name, Zimele, speaks of self-sufficiency, of standing on your own 2 feet. And together they built something remarkable that have also helped us as a university to stand on our feet. We relied on them in their building to also help with our building. And Thando, as CEO, guided that company from the front of the information and communications technology sector in South Africa. He was a man who gave again and again to UWC. And the relationship didn't end when he left the university or when he handed in those last lecture notes. For Thando, UWC remained the home that he came back to. He returned to us as a member of our council, our highest governance body at the university, and as part of his responsibilities as a member of our ICT governance committee, his expertise helped shape the digital and the technological landscape of UWC. He was visionary, a champion, and somebody who cared deeply about transformation in our space. What makes Thando's story at UWC so profoundly moving is not the titles or the positions held. It's what he chose to do with the success that he so painstakingly built. Through Zimele Technologies, Thando donated more than 3 million rands to refurbish our computer laboratories in our natural sciences and economics and management sciences faculties. For a man who once sat in a lecture theatre as a student, investing in our labs where the next generation would learn, that's not just philanthropy. That is a very deep expression of care. It was a love letter to a place that formed him. He also reached into the bursary program, opening doors for students who otherwise might not have had to close their books, or they would have had to close their books. He stood with students who faced hunger at our institution, contributing to our Feed the Need campaign in this very year and in previous years, donating goods in kind to our food bank. He understood viscerally, physically, personally, what it means to help, and he made sure that at UWC, students could access help if they needed it. This is Ubuntu in its truest form. This is what it looks like when a person refuses to forget who they came from, when a person recognizes that who they are is because of who we are together. I want to speak now not as the voice of an institution, but as someone who knew Thando personally, not only through the correspondence we had, not only through the council meetings or on a golf course that he helped with our fundraising, but as someone who talked often on the phone. It's not common in my experience of members of council, let alone deeply busy business people like Thando, that somebody picks up a phone simply to ask, how are you doing? How is the university doing? And Thando did that. The single habit tells you more about the man than the titles or the accolades. I have vivid recollections of talking with him on the golf course between those 4-ball stations that Zimele Technology sponsored, and his spirit was always one of good cheer, a happiness to be together in the opportunity with the university, a genuine curiosity about our challenges, our complexities, our shortcomings. He enjoyed especially, I think, a frank, honest conversation about the institution, its leadership, and its people. He wasn't looking for reassurance. He was looking for truth because he genuinely cared about how to help. On one of those occasions, he spoke with evident pride and hope about his daughter's prospects of studying at UWC. In that conversation, it struck me that here was a father dreaming for his child in the same place where he himself had grown. I saw the fullness of who Thando was in that conversation. He was not only incisive as a business intellect, not only a formidable leader as a CEO, he was above all a people person with a generous heart for his family and all those around him. It is rare in any leader to find that capacity to lead as genuinely selfless. We hope for it in our leaders that they are genuinely selfless. We are often disappointed. But in Thando, that selflessness was real. Though always measured and formal in his manner, the warmth of his interest in people was real. The desire to help was evident in everything he did. In our most recent conversation, and as it turned out, our last conversation earlier this year by telephone, Thando was calling about a donation he intended to make to UWC. In that call with me, he was not focused on the size of the gift or any form of recognition. He asked me more than once, where will the funding have its biggest impact? Where will the most people feel the impact of it? And I had to say to him, with our students. We settled together on replacing computers in our labs where the hardware had become outdated and slow. That was Thando Mjebeza. Even in generosity, his concern was entirely for impact. Mrs. Mjebeza, Nwabisa, and Thando's daughters, I want to speak to you directly. The man you shared your life with was extraordinary, not just in the boardroom and governance chambers, but in the fullness of who he was as a human being. His heart was not just big, it was generous in the way that only the truly humble can be generous. Quietly, consistently, without a need for recognition. When Thando passed, I was unable to be at the funeral service in the Eastern Cape. I know that members of our executive also tried to get tickets via Joburg from Cape Town down to Mjebeza, and we could not. It was all fully booked. I have no doubt that the people who have booked those tickets were coming to that special occasion. And it all happened so very quickly on that weekend when even the flights could not be had. But I want you to know that we followed the service on YouTube. And I want you to know that we were fully present with you in spirit, watching with deep attention that dignified, song-filled. I loved the music and the singing on the day. Tribute to a man who deserved every note of it. It was very clear from the service what an irreplaceable space Thando filled in the lives of those who loved him. Our Chancellor, Archbishop Mjebeza, who currently is on a period of well-earned sabbatical leave abroad for 3 months, expresses deep sorrow and heartfelt condolences to the family when I spoke to him yesterday. Our chairperson of council, Ms. Mpangoshe, similarly, when we spoke last night, would so have wanted to be here. And I know that in their hearts, Thando meant a great deal to them. We expressed together as the leadership our tenderness at this loss to the family and this loss to UWC. Bereft is a word that comes close, I think, to capturing what we feel as UWC in relation to Thando. His legacy is etched in the walls of our laboratories, in the journeys of our students who completed their degrees because he opened the door for them, into the fabric of a university that is better, genuinely better, because Thando Mjebeza walked through its doors as a young man and never really left the place. In closing, as I said in my opening remarks, 50 years is much, much too short. Far too short for a man of the stature and vision, this heart of greatness. And yet we know, and Thando, I believe, would have known, that we all will, in the fullness of time, pass through this life. In the instance of a life lived so fully and yet so briefly, we recognize our own mortality, our own fragility. And in that recognition, there is an invitation to us to live as Thando lived, to lead as he led, to give as he gave. That is the truest way to honor him. Grief, if we let it, can give way to gratitude. Today, I am grateful that Thando Mjebeza came through the doors of UWC with a hunger to learn. Grateful that he stayed long enough to teach. Grateful that when life brought him such success, his first instinct was to share it. Grateful that UWC had the privilege of knowing him, not just as a graduate, not just as a member of our council, but as a member of the UWC family. On behalf of the University of the Western Cape, our council, our chairperson, our chancellor, our executive management, our staff, and every single one of our students, I say we loved Thando Mjebeza. We miss him deeply and daily, and we will honor him by best continuing to build that kind of university he believed in. The university that opens doors, the university that leaves no one behind, the university that lifts people and transforms our South Africa. Rest in peace, Thando. You gave us more than you knew. Ambakachli Mkonto. Go well, gentle giant. Thank you, everybody.
Ah, thank you so much, Professor Balfour. I know my boss would have said we need to get you a tablet. With those donations, we will make sure the tablet comes through. That was the opening and a welcome note from the university's vice chancellor and rector. We're now going to have an opening prayer. Throughout his life, Thando carried himself with humility and faith. As we seek comfort today and strength and understanding of what has happened to us, we invite God's presence amongst us so that he sticks with us and carries us through. I'm going to invite Dr. Lutasha Ndesi to give us our opening prayer. She is a lecturer at UWC at the EMS faculty, which is where most of this room came from, together with Thando. Thank you.
Friends and colleagues, and to the family once again, our sincerest condolences. I've had the privilege of being at UWC for the past 20 years myself and working in the EMS faculty alongside this great gentle giant. And what a joy under the sad circumstances to come and share this prayer of comfort with you during this difficult time. Thando was light and brought so much joy to all our students. And he, as the rector has already indicated, leaves behind a huge, huge vacuum. And so, dear friends, will you join me as we bow our heads in prayer? Creator God, we are gathered here today, saddened by the passing on of Mr. Thabo Greatness Mjebeza. Amidst our grief and state of mourning, we gather here to honor and give thanks to you for the beautiful gift you have blessed us with in the life and the time of Thabo. We thank you for his generous professional life of service, wisdom, kindness, love, care, patience, compassion, and passion. We are deeply grateful for the special talents, skills, and intelligence you have endowed upon Thabo as he lived his life in the humble yet magnanimous pursuit of offering his life, energy, time, and resources to create numerous enabling environments where people from all walks of life, and especially our young people, could find a safe and productive space within which to empower themselves, to plow back into their communities, and also become global leaders. We thank you for his tireless dedication, his expertise and commitment towards the ongoing transformation of our digital landscape in various communities, and especially at the University of the Western Cape, where he diligently, gently, and faithfully served as a sterling member of the UWC Council. We are grateful for his exemplary collegial stewardship, through which he unwaveringly dedicated himself in contributing to the continuous transformation of our institution. And for this, we are grateful indeed that his passionate investment into this, our community, was for the benefit and for those who will be coming in the next generation and towards our future. We ask you, God of comfort, to please enfold Tabu's loved ones in your unfailing tender love and care as they come to terms with his untimely passing, and that you will grant them the necessary peace and healing through this sad and difficult time. May they, together with us, continue to be inspired by his generosity, dedication, commitment, and care to live forth his impactful legacy for the improvement and upliftment of humanity. Bless us and this special gathering today and always, as we offer this and all our collective prayers to you, the one who first gives in order to bless, then calls back to yourself those whom you love and have created. So we offer these prayers in the name of God, who is comfort, light, hope, joy, and our everlasting peace. Amen.
Thank you for those encouraging words of prayer, Dr. Lutasha. We are now going to step into tribute messages. Under this category, I will have 4 speakers, 2 from UWC and 2 from his secondary family, Zimele Technologies. And from UWC, we would like to have a soloist come through to get the 2 speakers from UWC to come up. And we will be hearing an item from Richman Sibui.
Can find the glade trees I will see it like into a shade Trees where you sit shall crowd into a shade. Cool girl shall find the glade. Where you sit shall crowd into a shade. Trees where you sit shall crowd into a shade. Where you tread, the blushing flowers shall rise, and all things flourish, and all things where you turn your eyes, where you turn your eyes, where you turn your eyes. Where you walk, shall find the glade. Trees where you sit, shall crowd into a shade. Trees where you sit shall crowd into a shade. Where you walk, cool girl shall find the glade. Where you sit, shall crowd into a shade. Trees where you sit. The sun's crowd into a shade.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Richmond. I am going to call upon a colleague and lecturer at UWC, and that is Ricardo Harry. Thando believed that knowledge and wisdom were meant to uplift others. He never separated professional excellence from human connection. To share in this reflection, Dr. Ricardo will be coming up to speak to you in that regard. Thank you.
This is hard. Sure. It, it's hard. When we change our glasses, you're getting to that age. So it was with great sadness that we received the news of the passing of a great friend and confidant, Thando Mjebeza, greatest Mjebeza. He never liked it when we share our middle names. I never had a middle name because my mom knew it must be changed many years back because somehow some kid is going to poke fun at me. And Thando just didn't like it when I say greatest Mjebeza. But yet the name itself was so synonymous to Thando that very few people would know how great he actually was going to become. So, okay, let's just check technology. Done. So, our heartfelt condolences to Nana, Nabisa, and the girls, to Milia, Imani, and Nana taught us if we can't pronounce Mini, his full name, it's Mini. To Ati, his sister, his extended family, friends, and the broader ISA business community that was greatly impacted by his influence and discipline. So my association with Thando traces back to when we were still kids. In our youth, when we first went to UWC, two kids from opposite sides of the coastline, one hailing from Eastern Cape of South Africa, the coastline of South Africa, one hailing from Eastern Cape, the other from Cape Town, 1,000 miles apart, um, converging at a place called UWC in Belleville to become the better version of ourselves. It's gonna get better, don't worry, it will get better. Um, as friends, we were vastly different, yet very similar. We were both stubborn, and as many of our other friends who are also to an extent a bit stubborn, we questioned everything. We used to theorize about many things. We would think about the colors of Shoprite. Why is it red and yellow? And why is Pick and Pay black? Why is Pick and Pay blue? Is it because Shoprite is so easily noticeable in a township? When you see red and black, it's either danger or a brass sunshine. And Pick and Pay, no, it's cool and calm. It needs to be in the suburbs. But we never actually been in a Woolworths to argue the eloquent nature of the black, because at that point, Woolworths was way beyond our means. So many theories, many thoughts, many nights of sitting up, and many nights of reminiscing where our future is going with us. We share the same mentors, same circles of friends, and have similar ideologies, that of being more than what we could ever be in this life. I was the skeptic, he was the optimist. We often question our level of education at UWC. If we look at Stellenbosch, UCT, but and many other more like your proficient, your more elite institutions, until one day we realized that the same lecturer that is lecturing us and that was our mentor was the exact same lecturer that lectured Mark Shuttleworth, who became our first Afronaut. And from that day onwards, we never questioned our ability. So, Thando had a very simple philosophy. We are equal, we're all equal, but at some point, one of us is going to become greater, and we're going to support that greatness. In many occasions, he was the one that would step up and we would follow. I remember a situation where we were busy with our masters at UWC, and Thando had this model, and we couldn't get to a point where he sort of made the breakthrough to just hand in his thesis and say, okay, I'm done. So I remember I bought my first house many years back, and Thando, myself, and a few friends, we were busy with studies and going through our thesis. And Thando has this model, but it was just four squares connected together for service management. And we just couldn't get the breakthrough. I was sitting in the lounge working on our thesis, and we step outside. And while we step outside, I had this old dirty car, Jetta. And so the car was like dirty because it stood outside, haven't got washed. So we started drawing on the Jetta's windows. So Thando, if you have 4 blocks, what's in the middle between the top one and the bottom one, and the right one and the left one? And we ended up drawing, I think it's a 3x3 model for his thesis. And that was pretty much the model that he used to go into business and to be able to do a service better than what was already available. So that was the way we would look at things and try to improve things and try to support each other. You equal until one of us become greater and the rest will follow. So as a group of friends, we shared one common mission. We finished our degrees and nothing else. It was more painful for us to think about owing, whether it's the university or owing the bursar. So why did we come to university? To have a nice time, have friends, and then go pay back debt. It wasn't an option for us. We finished our assignments, completed late nights. Um, the thought was, we are here, we don't want to go back to the township. We've been there, we know. We often try to ask Thando to go camp with us. He said, no, when I was in the township, that was free. Don't want to go camp with you unless it's in a hotel or it's something different. So hard work was mere guarantee that our education will provide us better options, prospects, and it, it later paid off. So I was the inquisitive and the pessimistic one, question everything, question everything. So normally as a friend, that can easily become boring for you. So we all used to stay at Hector Peterson hostel. And when Thando managed to be, he got a tutor job, had tutor job, and he managed to be, he was the one earning money. We were still studying. So apart from just relying as just him being our friend, he was also our finance manager to an extent. So Thando used to buy, he used to come and visit Sisa. So Sisa stayed right next to me at the university in the dorm. So Sisa's door is there, right next to my door. So when you hear knock and you hear the door open and you hear it close, you're out of your room. Because you know if Thando arrives, something is coming getting down. Something is going to happen. Just make sure you are in that car as one of the five. Just make sure. So the moment the knock goes, and they can't even, it, cell phones never really existed. It was too expensive. They couldn't even just touch, or Shisha would lift the window to get out the other side. We would be there because we knew. So one day, we had many excursions. So one day, we were looking for Thando, Sisawa, and two of the other guys, and we ended up not finding them. Msi was very disappointed because we couldn't be part of the group that is in the car. Because that day, Thando was driving celebrities around at UWC. And these were back in the day where Boom Shaka, Lebo Matosa was big. And Msi was so upset because he couldn't meet his idol, Lebo Matosa. So we knew when Sisha moves, you have to be close. You have to be close. There were times we introduced them to a bit of Cape Townian culture, tradition. We went to Steenbrasdam. We came to Steenbrasdam, we brine, we had some a nice time at Steenbrasdam, only for a baboon to chase us for our food. We tried to chase him, but we just realized this creature is more committed and wanted that bit of that packet, that bread. In fact, it was the bread that they got and they ran away. Okay, so whenever we needed something, there's always Thando. By the 20th of the month, our cupboards would have run dry. You just need to make sure you go knock on Thando's door before and see Sisa or many others on the 20th. I remember we shared lectures with, and Bongani was our tutor. We kept it quiet, many things quiet around Bongani because he was our senior. But whenever it comes to Thando, this guy can't be my senior. We are equal or I become greater. Was always his attitude. He will invite Mungani with us and into our circle. And we realize, we can become greater. He was our tutor, but now we are equals. We can become greater. Okay, we'll see. Okay. So, whenever you have to repay back Thando, it wasn't merely a payment you have to give to him. You be yourself, you contribute to his life, you contribute to being greater, being equal, or do whatever it is necessary for us to see the next step in life. And one day I paid him back for something I borrowed before the 20th or after the 20th, because between the 20th, payday is only 25th. So I gave him snoek, biltong, but it's the dried snoek I gave Thando. And I thought, at least I'm done now. I don't need to. For this month, I'm settled. So I took the snook and I don't know exactly what he did with it. But 3 months later, I walked into Thando's room and he took out the snook from the freezer and he asked me, "Hey man, how do I prepare this?" And that was the time that I realized that biltong can be frozen. Biltong can be frozen. Okay, so let me just see where I am. And we created this for the youngsters. Now we're struggling with it. We created this. So at some point, when we concluded our studies, I ended up sharing a flat with Thando. Now I'm telling you as a friend, that was the ultimate honor. to stay with this guy, this brilliant guy. My girlfriend back then knew about it. Ah, you with Thando, you're staying there. Ah, I've met Thando. No, it's fine, you can stay with Thando. And today she's my wife. And it's like Thando knew this is what you need to do to get to the next point. You can argue what you may. If Thando have a different opinion, he will have a different opinion. And I knew at some point I was just building up to get uh, some reference or bank statement so that I can move out because Napisa was knocking on the door. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. You can't keep this guy. And we are very grateful for your association with Thando Nana because it allowed us access and sometimes too much access to him. So thank you very much for that. The philosophy was simple: be equal until you become greater. And God is always first. Equal till you become greater. He was one of the brightest young minds, 100 brightest young minds in South Africa, 2001, 2002. Always the best in whatever we accomplish, whether it's with the golf guys, whether it's in our academic environment. Best CEO, best father, best husband, best friend. Now imagine if you have all that best, 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 best. When is it our turn? But Thando, you are the greatest. And you are indeed the greatest. So thank you, Thando, for being a great influence and support of academia, especially UWC. Thank you for your contribution to the democratic South Africa, where we are giving hope, guidance, support. Thank you for being a great mentor to many. Thank you for your friendship and presence in our life. We will deeply miss you and we will feel that absence. But we took solace from the fact that your flame will be burning through us. It's been a long day till I see you, my friend. And I'll tell you all about it when we meet again. So thank you, Nana, for sharing time with us. And the girls, his daughters, his family. To the Zamalians, be equal, but go for greatness. To Sisa, Mishek, Pungani, Mpo, Toshat, you will prevail, and many others. To the VC, UWC community, thank you for your opportunity to allow us to thank a great person. Thank you. You knew I'm here, and you knew I can talk. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Ricardo. I had decided I'm not going to limit any speaker today, and I would leave everyone to pour their hearts out. But Ricardo is making me revisit this decision. All right. Leadership leaves footprints, people. And perhaps Tando's greatest contributions was his belief that knowledge should translate into transformation. His work demonstrated that technology, innovation, and education could become instruments for social and economic advancement. To share in these insights, I'm going to call up Dr. nzima yedwa.
Molweni, ninjani? Siyaphila. Igama lami ngumziwoxolo wakwaMayedwa. Kodwa ke ndime apha as one of Thando's former student. He was my lecturer back in 2003. But I'm also standing here on behalf of the Department of Information Systems, where I'm also a lecturer there. Well, it's funny that I only became to know that Thando was 3 years older than me. Well, I came to university 5 years later after finishing my matric due to many other social factors that I couldn't go to university. But I think I'm grateful that I was delayed to meet such a great man, because of if ever then I was not delayed, I will not have an opportunity or a chance to be able to be in his space. Well, as a student, I had to write something for him. I think we are all aware that we are gathered here today not simply to grieve, but also to celebrate a life that was given so generously to others. A life that poured itself out day after day so that those around it could flourish. And we are grateful for that particular life. I speak today of a man who was, to many of us, far more than a lecturer at our department. He was a beacon. He was Thando, greatest Mjebeza. Well, I said when I'm here, I'm going to pause and just say some few things about my experience of Thando. During our classes, Thando was one of the lecturers whose class that was full into capacity. Jonga, we will leave all other classes and make sure that siyaku Mr. Mjebeza. We used to call him Mr. Mjebeza. Iclass yakhe yayigcwala into capacity to a certain extent. Kungabikho nendawo le apho singafuneke sihlale khona. That's who Thando was to us. You know, from the moment where you walk into his class, you will knew you were in the presence of someone that was rare. Thando did not merely teach, he awakened the students. He had an extraordinary gift of looking into a student, not who they were, but who they could become. That's who Thando was. He saw a potential where others saw doubt. He saw a future where others saw blank pages. That was Mr. Mjebeza for you. He will walk into a lecture hall carrying a presence of entrepreneurship and still find a way to sit with you, to listen to you, to remind you of your dreams that matters too. That is a rare and selfless kind of a person. He didn't just teach students about technology or business. He taught them about integrity, about showing up, about finding something that outlasts you. And by the size of his heart, he has broken day and he has certain years. Thando was not just Thando, he was also a mentor. He was a steady voice that told students to keep going when every instinct said you can stop. He was the hand that pointed forward when one could not see the road ahead. He believed in all students before they could believe in themselves. And I know there are also dozens and hundreds of us who carry his fingerprint on our confidence, on our courage, as well as on our careers. He taught students that technology is as powerful as people behind it. I'm sure we can make testament of that. He lived those words. Through Zimele Technologies, he did not just build systems and solutions, but he built people. Even at the universities of the Western Cape, he didn't just teach us as students, but he was also building us. And we see this through his company, Zimele Technologies. He understood that true infrastructure of any nation is in its human capital. So he invested in us tirelessly and tenderly. But there's one thing about grief. Grief is what love becomes when it has nowhere to go. But the fact that we grieve so deeply today is the greatest testament to the size of the man whom we lost. Thando Mjebeza, although he was vertically challenged in terms of size-wise, but he was not small. He was enormous. Enormous in his warmth, in his wisdom, in his willingness to give. I think I need to repeat this one. He was enormous in his warmth, his wisdom, his willingness to give. So let this be our promise to him. We will carry what he poured unto us. We will mentor someone else the way he mentored us. We will build the same heart he built with. We will look into other students who doubt themselves and say the words that he once said to all of us. You are capable more than you know. Rest well, Nkwali. You gave this world more than it deserves. And we, your students, your colleagues, your family, we are better people to have known you. Hamba kahle Thando, the greatest Nkwali, rest well. I thank you.
Thank you, Mzi. I thought no one would mention the lecture halls. There are ladies I knew who attended Tando's lectures, not just for the lectures. Half the lecture hall would have a crush on Thando, and Thando wouldn't even know. And he wouldn't even care. Aibo. That was harsh, Chairman. Okay. Okay, now we're gonna go into our last two speakers in this category. And these are two people from Tando's secondary family, Zimele Technologies. We all know that Thando founded more than a company. He built a family in us. He created opportunities. He developed leaders. He believed in in African talent and invested in people with unwavering conviction. Thando would make sure that you get to where he sees you, of envisions you to be, and he will handhold you till he gets you there. His vision continues to shape Zimele Technologies and the many careers that were nurtured under his leadership. I'm going to call upon our COO to speak on behalf of the company on this journey.
Good afternoon, everyone. I was told not to cry. I was doing fine until the doctor came up. I have the same issue as him, the allergies. So just excuse me. I'm Dilshad Amir. As Nomvuyo mentioned, I'm the COO of Zimili Technologies. I have the privilege of representing the men and women who worked alongside Thando over the years, who believed in his vision, who shared in his dreams, and dedicated themselves to helping to build Zimili to what it is today. Today, I stand before you with immense gratitude for having had the privilege of knowing and working alongside a truly remarkable man, Thando Greatest Mjebeza. It is especially meaningful to me to be here today in the presence of the leadership of UWC. It's at this very institution where I met Thando back in 2002. He was my information systems lecturer, and it's very true. Thando was very observant. I used to attend these lectures as well. I was one of those people that sat in awe of this man. And I sat there and I would stare. And at some point, Thando stopped the lecture and he did, oops, sorry, and he did this. And he said, "Are you here?" And I said, "I'm so focused and interested in what you are saying." But that's how he was able to draw people's attention. Even then, I knew that there was something different about him. He had a credible ability to see potential in people long before he saw it in themselves. While I was completing my honours degree, Thando approached me. Thando was always ready to recruit. And he asked me to tutor his first year students in information systems, which I gladly accepted. It was one of the first signs that he believed that I had something to offer, even when I was still trying to find my own path. After I completed my studies and started applying for jobs, I received a phone call. That time it was still on the home telephone call. You have no idea how I ran. My mother called me. She said, "There's a gentleman on the call. His name is Thando." And I ran so fast, because it was a home telephone. You know how expensive it is to call someone back. And then just to call someone, the effort that goes, zero, okay. It was way too much effort to dial on the telephone at that time. Those of you who are old enough know what I'm talking about. So Thando called me and he said, "I have an opportunity at the city of Cape Town. I'm looking for 15 students to join me on an internship program." And at first, I thought, I've applied for so many jobs. I was on round 2 or 3 of some of the interviews, waiting for that phone call to be placed. And here, this phone call comes from Thando. And I asked him a bunch of questions, but one of the questions I said, my last question to him was, "Out of all of the students, why me?" And he said, "I want the best team, and you are of the best." And I think that stayed with me throughout my career. Allergies. That stayed with me throughout my career. And I knew that for the rest of my life, um, it would give me the confidence to stretch beyond what I knew I was able to do. At Simili, Thando was not the kind of leader who remained behind closed doors. His door was always open, no matter how busy his schedule. He made time for people. He made a special effort to speak to each and every individual in the organization. He knew our names, he knew our aspirations, our challenges, and even our potential. He had an ability to make everyone feel important. He gave freely of his time, his wisdom, his experience. He believed that leadership was not about directing people, but about developing them. He challenged us to grow, encouraged us to pursue excellence, and never stopped reminding us that we were capable of so much more than we imagined. Many of us are who we are today because Thando took the time to invest in us. He was very proud of each and every one of us and even of the brand. I remember attending meetings with Thando, and at some point in the meeting, I wanted to take down notes, and I started shuffling around in my bag looking for a pen, and out comes the pen, and I start writing, and Thando looked at me and he said, "When's your birthday?" And I'm like, "My birthday's in June. Why?" They said, "I'm going to buy you a Zimele branded pen." We're not here to promote others. And from that day, I swear to you, I carry the name so proudly. Everything that I do, I keep Thando in mind today. The brand flies high because of this gentleman. To his beloved wife and daughters and family, words can never truly ease the pain of your loss. Please know that the man we knew at work was a man of integrity, compassion, and generosity. The qualities that inspire us every day were undoubtedly shaped by the love, support, and strength of the family that stood beside him. So thank you for sharing him with us. To Thando, you were a builder of dreams, a man who saw possibility where others saw limitations, a leader who opened doors and then stood beside us as we walked through them. Some people lead with titles, you lead with belief. You saw potential in people long before they saw it in themselves. You planted confidence in uncertain hearts and purpose in restless minds. You taught us that excellence was not an accident, that discipline mattered, faith mattered, and people mattered. The halls will still carry your footsteps. The conversation will still carry your wisdom. The company will still carry your fingerprints, and all of us who walk this journey with you will carry a part of you, of your spirit forward. Though your chair may now stand empty, your legacy never will. For every life you uplifted, every opportunity you created, every lesson you shared, and every dream you dared us to pursue, we thank you. Rest now, Thando. Your work was meaningful, your impact was real, and your memory will continue to guide us long after today. May your soul rest in eternal peace. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dilshad. Um, I'm going to call upon one of our other executives, Thomas Julius, to also share his memories of Thando. I think one of the things that, as we speak of the home he built in Zimele, um, we keep forgetting the mother that stood beside him and made it all possible. Madlomo, this was really an amazing job that you did for all of us. We are thankful.
Good afternoon, all. Um, so I got the brief from Thando. I brought the iPad. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. This is an honor to be able to share a tribute to Thando. And it is fitting that we conclude these memorial services here in Cape Town and at UWC, as mentioned, an institute that served as a catalyst for Thando's story and for many of our stories. A journey that went from student, as mentioned, to lecturer, to business sponsor, donor, and finally council member. It is also here at UWC where many of us, I think almost everybody that's spoken, first cross paths with Thando. And this is where I also met Thando, in his sunny office in the EMS building at UWC. Now I can't quite remember exactly how we met, but I do remember spending many hours having long conversations with Thando, similar to the doctor around various topics. He was definitely a talker and a thinker. And during these discussions, it was clear that UWC, and while lecturing was fulfilling to him, his his ambitions and his breadth of talent was big enough, bigger than UWC. And while we at UWC were pursuing a single degree, Thando was doing 2 degrees simultaneously. That's how big and his dreams were. So let me pause and start with a saying here. So there's a saying that goes something like this: that when you are born, you look like your parents, but when you die, you look like your decisions. And when we think of Thando's decisions, and I reflected on this, I mean, there are many decisions to reflect on. And just with the time available, I'll look at 3. These are the ones that I want to share with you. First, he chose consistency of character. Over the past few weeks, we have heard countless tributes from friends, family, colleagues. And what stands out is that the Thando each of us experiences the same Thando that everybody else has experienced. Those stories are so similar. The Thando that made you feel special is the Thando that made those around you feel special. The man that made time for you, time for me. The man that guided and genuinely cared for us. His smile, and we won't forget that smile, eh? That is I asked my wife, what do you remember about Thando? And she's like, his smile. A big smile. His sincere interest in people and their challenges, and his ability to follow through on promises. This will leave a lasting impact on so many lives. Secondly, as we've all heard today again, is that Thando chose to be a force for good. The tributes we've heard speak of support he gave family and friends, but helping people extended far beyond his immediate circles. Whether it was a colleague, a client, a business partner, or a community member, helping just came naturally to Thando. It was easy. And I can I'll probably look at it as a million management and execs. I mean, it's so easy to remember a WhatsApp from Thando. Here's a CV. See if you can help this person. And then you go to someone else and you're like, you got the same message. Make sure you help this person, you know. Or you get a message to say, here's a partner. Let's see how we can help them, how we can work with them on an opportunity. And so today we've got similar stories. And when I was looking at reading through some of the tributes on LinkedIn, and even today, this statement is repeated and occurs all the time. Thando saw something in me that I did not see in myself, and he gave me an opportunity. And as we also heard on Friday, you hear statements like, I met Thando, and he agreed that we could partner together on an opportunity. And just yesterday, I had someone phone me to say, hey, you remember Thando spoke to me and he said we must partner. Eh? don't forget. We're going to have many of those coming through. So Thando opened doors. He connected people. He created possibilities. And we will always be grateful for that. And finally, like Dr. Ricardo also mentioned, Thando chose to dream big, right? And rightfully so. When you consistently achieve what others think is impossible, you begin to understand that the bigger the dream, the greater the opportunity. But dreaming big also comes with challenges and setbacks and moments of uncertainty. And what made Thando special was not his ability to dream, to only dream, but the determination to persevere through those dreams and push those dreams to reality. So my experience has been that gentle determination, but if I listening to all the tributes on the golfing side, it didn't sound like it was that gentle. Um, I recall in January, after we returned from the holidays, we spoke about the holidays, and he mentioned he took the family abroad, and he told me that what he enjoyed is taking the girls on these trips, because it helped broaden their perspective, it exposed them to different cultures, and it allowed them to experience what we're calling, consulting terms, the art of the possible, right? It shapes the person to dream bigger and to think, about bigger goals. Yeah, so even obviously, even on holidays, he's purpose driven, eh? Even on holidays. So Thando was always teaching, always building, always creating possibilities. And now, as we say goodbye, perhaps we can take comfort in knowing that we have gained a guardian angel who will continue to inspire us to dream bigger, reach higher, and believe in the impossible. And as we reflect on, as I reflected on today and preparing for this and for this tribute, I think the greatest tribute we can pay to Thando is to simply remember him, or not to simply remember him, as what we need to do is to continue to value, or to continue to live the values that he shared with us, to be generous with our time, to create opportunities for others, to keep our promises, to dream bigger than our circumstances, and to believe in people before they believe in themselves. So if we can do that, then I believe we will continue the legacy of Thando in each of us. So in closing, I'd like to say thank you to Thando. Thank you for your sacrifice. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your guidance, and thank you for believing in us. Rest well, boss. Lion. May God continue to bless and strengthen Mjebeza, the girls, and the entire Mjebeza family. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Julius. We're now gonna go into a different category of business associates. What we know about Thando is that he did a lot in the academic space, he did a lot in the business space, but he also did a lot outside or beyond those two areas of his life. In East London, there was a traditional group of musicians who were entertaining us the whole day, and those were being backed up by Thando in many ways for that organization to exist. There's many others that he touched in a similar way, and I'm going to call upon Vukile, who is the founder and owner of Lady in Red. We have been, as Zimele Technologies, supporters of Lady in Red for the past 10 years, I think now. And so Vukile will give a speech on behalf of the community that Thando also believed in and served, which is Lady in Red. I forgot to say another short minute.
Um, sitting at the back, it's not as intimidating as standing in front. And when I saw the program last night and I was showing it to my wife, and my wife said to me, looking at the titles, said, "Are you sure you're going to speak after all these doctors and professors?" First thing that I'd like to say, yes, my name is Vukile Sodlongwana, originally from the Eastern Cape. But before I say what I prepared, I want to say I attended the funeral in East London. I listened to all the speakers, and also I virtually attended the memorial service last week on Wednesday, which was held in Joburg. And I listened to every speaker before me. I do not want to repeat what everyone has said, because there's one common thing that everyone said through all the speakers. They spoke about the love and the generosity Thando had. And I wouldn't like to repeat that, but mine is to just to confirm indeed Thando was a loving person and he was very generous, both with information, finance, and knowledge. And also, I would like to say to the family, I do not know how it feels to lose a wife. I do not know how it feels when you've lost a father. Of course, I grew up without one, so I don't know how it feels. But one thing that I know is how it feels when there's death in the family. I lost my child when he was 19 months old. And in that pain, I realized that my son had a mother, and the mother has lost a child. And his siblings lost a brother. And therefore, I have sons who've lost a brother, and I have a wife who have lost a child. In that moment, I had to forget about myself and be strong for them because they needed me the most. In that, I'm trying to say to the children of Mjebeza that your mother has lost a husband and therefore she needs you. Equally so to the mother, Mjebeza, you've got children who have lost a father and they need you. But in that process, you mustn't forget to first heal before you take care of them because they need you well. Amongst the legacies that Thando has left, one of the lasting legacies he leaves is Lady in Red. Many years ago, I shared with him a vision for a networking platform that would celebrate excellence with opera as its background. The concept was to create space where young students and emerging professionals could showcase their talents and pursue their aspirations. Not only did he embrace the vision wholeheartedly, but he also helped grow it far beyond its original scope. Through his unwavering support, guidance, and ability to secure sponsorships, Lady in Red flourished into a meaningful vehicle for empowerment and opportunities. Last year, Lady in Red celebrated its 10th anniversary, a significant milestone that reflects both its impact and sustainability. Over the years, its reach has expanded considerably. We have been privileged to provide deserving learners from under-resourced communities with laptops and other essential learning forward by mentoring, tutoring, and supporting deserving learners from the very communities from which they came. Through their service and commitment, the cycle of empowerment continues. This is testament to his belief in the potential of young people and his dedication to creating opportunities that changes lives. And so his legacy lives not only in what he helped build, but in the many lives that continue to be transformed because he chose to believe in the vision and invest in the future. As a Lady in Red family, we are forever indebted to the generosity of Thando and Zimele Technologies. We will remember him not only for his generosity and leadership, but for the hope he inspired and the futures he helped shape. May his legacy to shine, continue to shine every little touched by Lady in Red. I thank you.
Okay, just a little thing about Lady in Red. After 4 years of being made a speaker at that event forcefully by Thando, because he wouldn't speak at these events, I started charging him by buying red dresses, and I've got 4 red dresses from continuously being bought a red dress by Zimele so that I can speak at Lady in Red. So these things come with benefits, guys. Okay, we're gonna look at our last speaker now, and that would be Professor Balfour again, more on the business associates. He's looking at me with wide eyes. Okay, so we're going to go and get a performance by Richmond just before I call on our chairman and CEO, who's going to give us the closing remarks. Okay, Richmond.
Divegetabile carredo bil Fabio ombra mai divegetabile carredo Fabio carredo my phone.
Thank you so much, Richman. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure serving you. As we come to a close of this memorial service, I am reminded that whilst life has ended or death has ended a life, it does not mean an end to a legacy. Thando's legacy lives in the students he inspired, in the employees or professionals he mentored, in the organizations he strengthened, in the communities he served, and most of all, in the family he loved so deeply. I am going to now step away and will not see you again as I hand over to my chairman, my CEO of Zimele, Sisa Khafuza.
So I still read my newspaper, not from an iPad or tablet or anything like that. I think, Prof, you did mention earlier, before I start with my vote of thanks, that I was one of the founding members of Zimele. I was not. I joined Thando in 2007 as a chairman and a business partner. So I just want to put that out in the universe so that it knows. Yeah. So I don't want to claim his legacy by saying that I was a founder. But yeah, I've been a friend. I've been an advisor and a counselor in all those years. And even when he started Zimele, we had a long conversations. And I think Ricardo was one of the people that we spent so many long evenings and long nights discussing how to best manage the business. As you would know, we come from a background where we didn't have the opportunity, or we're not fortunate enough to be in rooms where things get discussed or strategies get discussed. We had to find things on our own, but we managed to be where we are now today. So today, I'm doing a vote of thanks. I think last week I did speak quite at length about my friendship with Thando. And today is just to say thank you to everyone who came out today, who spoke today. But I've prepared something, so I'll read through it because I like to speak off the cuff. Typically, I don't write things down when I have to speak, and I trust my memory. So, my friend, it has been very difficult to accept your departure. And I thank you for affording me the time to see you days before you left us. And had that not happened, I would have been extremely scarred. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for your brotherhood. And thank you for your love. I've spoken much last week about our time together on this plane. And today I'm standing at the very first grounds of our meeting in 1998, our alma mater. Our friendship was forged here, and being the Dusty Boys of the then Transkei and Ciskei to being at the University of the Western Cape was a great achievement. And today I look back with extreme pride that we became the citizens we are and you were. You have been an outstanding citizen. Ngamiso Matebula last week at your Gauteng Memorial said that the country needs to celebrate more people like you, Thando, because of your contribution to society at large, and that you were able to provide a vehicle through Zimele to support so many families. And I concur. The ripple effect of your work is immeasurable. There are future families that will not know that their success was underpinned by your work. And indeed, we are here today to celebrate you, your work, and to show and share our gratitude for the life well lived. I also agree with the quote that Mphomo Lefe, our executive at Zimele, shared with us last week at your memorial. A quote popularized by Les Brown and Dr. Miles Monroe, that the richest place on earth is the graveyard because it holds unrealized potential, unwritten books, unsung songs, and abandoned dreams that died with the people who carried them. And you, my friend, you died empty as you shared all you had. Uqatso ulifezile, phumla kakuhle bukula kwanazi, nkwali kugqithile. I'll call you Kwakanya because I know people know you by your ID name, Nwabisa. So, in our tradition, when you take a wife, we change the wife's name because whoever was the boyfriend then mustn't call her by her name to say Nwabisa. We give them a new name. So, Nwabisa's supposed to be the official name that it's in a ID today. It's Kwakanya. No. Kwakanya means what? The brightness, light. No, is it light? Yeah, my wife corrects me all the time. Yeah, it means light. So you are the light now. You are the light. I think Vukile has spoken quite nicely about what you need to do as the wife, what you need to do for your kids. So you're the light now of your family. So I want to say again, I know because we speak quite a lot, spending a lot of time as a family, that has been very difficult to come to terms with the departure of your husband. Thando is young. You are young. So I can just imagine how difficult that has been. Now you are playing a dual role. You are the mother and you are the father. And I know God will grace you with his strength and you'll be able to carry the family forward. So to you, to the kids, you have us, we are your support. So thank you for sharing Thando with us. I would also like to thank the University of the Western Cape, under the leadership of the Vice Chancellor, Professor Robert Bafo, for affording us the time and place to celebrate Thando's life. Thank you to all the speakers. Today, your tribute messages are well received by us all, by Thando, and by the universe at large. Actually, Vukile, you are right. You know, after so many doctors, you feel so intimidated. And yeah, Thando was the greatest indeed. He made sure that the people that speak at his memorial have the right CVs. So I want to thank all our clients. We've got a special client in the room, and the city manager, Kwali Sabulela. To our stakeholders and the Zimele team for continuing to hold Thando's legacy in high esteem, and let's continue to keep the light shining. So I know that you have a new leader. I'm not like Thando. I'm more grumpy. I'm more demanding. And yeah, so you will bear with me. Yeah? Nomvuyo, actually, I was in the office last week. Was it this week or last week? Yeah, this week. She says, yeah, no, here we hug because no, boss, no. I don't hug. I'll hug you once, but I don't hug. All I need is work. Yeah. So you will bear with me. I know it's a transition. It's a transition for all of us. And so Thando and I, there will be meetings where he says, no, I don't want you to come. Because, because you tell people as it is, and you'll be demanding that they must do this. So this is not your meeting, it's my meeting because I need to massage it a little bit. So he knew me very well. And if he wants to take someone into battle, I will go because he knows that I wouldn't back down. So you have a new leader, but I've been a leader there because leading through Thando, I was leading through Thando as a chairman. So there is nothing that different. I want to thank Amanda Filanda and the team here at UWC, Dilshad, Ande, and Hezemele team for putting together this memorial. So thank you very much. Thank you to everyone who has afforded us their time today to celebrate Thando Mjebeza still alive. So greatest. So he didn't want me to use that name as well. Where's Ricardo? Yeah, you are right. He didn't want to use that name, greatest. But yeah, so Thando greatest Mjebeza still alive. Thank you to the catering team. So we hope the food is delicious, and the deco team for your stellar work towards this event. In closing, I would like to say to Thando again, I said this last week. So I believe you connect with people before you come here, and you connect with people. That's why we say, until I see you again. So it's not by coincidence, it's by design that you meet when you're here in this plane. So it's God's design. And I'm saying again, in our pre-human life, we chose each other. And now I know why we did, and the task at hand is very clear. I promise to remain committed to our soul contract, and I pray to God and our ancestors that they continue to guide me well in fulfilling our soul contract. In you, my friend, I've lost a twin brother, a confidant, a business partner, but I've gained and known wisdom, love, compassion, and tenacity. Rest well, brother. Until we meet again, rest assured your life work is in great hands. Although we've lost a generous soul, we've gained a generous angel. You are awake now. Be the light. Thank you.
Oh, yes. So, colleagues and friends, I come without the tablet, out the paper. Will you please rise as I ask for God's blessing upon each and every one of us, especially this family in mourning. And as we receive the blessing, I couldn't help being moved by the many beautiful tributes. And perhaps just to ask you, I know some of us are very professional in what we do, and rightly so. But if you can just raise our right hands up, left hands up. Place your right hand across over your left shoulder and the other across. Thando means love. And so, as we've raised our right hands and raised our left hands, we give thanks to the love that has created him. And we give him back to the love that has blessed us with him to be able to be of service to so many. And as we give him back to God, we want to also ask God to be merciful for those of us who are staying behind, who in love, as we cross over our arms in this manner and receive the blessing, will share even more generously what love has come to teach us, and that is our late brother Thando. And so, may the blessing of God, the blessing of the one who is love, make his face to shine upon you. May he be gracious unto you, and may he look kindly on you and give you everlasting peace, both now and forevermore. Amen. Thank you, everybody.